Welcome back to my channel, y'all. I know it's been a minute. I'm gonna make an update video, like a life update video. This video is gonna be the colorism video. I was tagged by Bivens to do this video about colorism, and she basically just wanted us to come on and talk about our experiences, like our life experiences with colorism, and just like have a conversation about it. And so this video is long overdue. I appreciate her for tagging me. Also check out My Twisted Life TV with Poetry. I think I got the name right. I always mess up the name, but she did her video on colorism. I just got done watching her video. I haven't watched all of Bivens videos because she's doing like an ongoing series / conversation about colorism in the Black community. Y'all need to go check out both of their channels. She also tagged some other people in her video, you know, to do videos on colorism. So I'm gonna get started. I kind of broke my video down because I didn't want to be all over the place with this topic, because it's such it's an interesting topic and you can go any which way with it. You could be mad about it, you could not be mad about it, and I specifically did this video with no makeup on to show y'all, you know, what I look like. I'm brown. I feel like I'm brown. And so yeah. So to get started, I wanted to go over the definition that I found in her video. She also went over a definition of colorism. So definitely check out Bivens' channel to see that video. And the definition that I found, this is specifically from Google. Definition of colorism: prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So to get started, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was my personal experiences with colorism. And I really, when I was thinking back over my little short span of life, I don't really have that many experiences that I can think about where I felt some type of way or I noticed colorism with me specifically. When I was in preschool, the area that I live in is predominantly white. When I was in preschool, my parents put me in this predominantly white preschool because that's what we were around. And I guess I was the only black child, and I came home and I was trying to scrub the black off my skin. Like, they found me in the bathtub, and I guess it was like this whole thing. I don't know if I was upset or what. I can't remember that because it was preschool. But yeah, so they had to take me out because I guess they were making me question why I was brown. And they put me in a predominantly black one, and you know, I was fine. But like I said, I don't remember that. My parents told me that, and I was like, wow, like that's really interesting. So from there, you know, preschool, moving on to 5th grade, I remember questioning why people called us black and not brown, and I always thought that was weird. And so in 5th grade, I made these signs that said I'm brown, not black, because I wanted to be called brown, not black, because I felt like me and the brown crayon and the Crayola box, we match. I don't know about nobody else, but me and the brown, you know, me and the brown crayon, we match. So I was like, I want to be called brown. And yeah, I was probably doing too much. I don't know if like I held those signs up for real. I really don't remember, probably, knowing myself. But yeah, so, and that's not even really colorism. The other incident that I mentioned, that was racism. So I mean, I don't really have any personal experiences to talk about with colorism. And I think that was kind of Ty's point in us making the video, because she wanted brown skinned women to talk about this issue, because I guess somebody else made a video saying that brown skinned women don't talk about it. And I agree with that statement, definitely. I feel like, you know, it's something that isn't talked about, and that I feel like that goes back to the roots. So that was my experiences with it, which I really don't have any. Like, I can't tell you a time where somebody like didn't do something because they felt some type of way because I was darker or lighter than they were. I have had experiences with men where I've had disagreements with them. Like some guys argue with me about me being mixed, and this really didn't come in until I got to college. I went to a HBCU. If you don't know what that stands for Historically Black College or University. And I went to FAMU, and that's Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in Tallahassee, Florida. And so when I went there, you know, I was around all different types of hues of black people, all different types of black people, period, because there's so many different types. I used to argue with people about me being light-skinned. And Poetry said this in her video too. She was like, she usually gets those arguments from people who are darker. And I get that same thing. Like, people will be like, oh, you're light. And I'm like, where? I don't know. I don't understand. Like, that's why I'm holding up my hand. Like, I'm just like, I see myself, and, you know, I'm brown. I wanted to do this video in more light. It's so hot outside though, and I'm outside and I use natural light. So, you know, and I'm in Florida too, and it looks like it's about to rain. So, I mean, this is as much light as I can give y'all. But if y'all go and look at my other videos, I feel like you can see, like, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle, in my opinion. And so I can't stand that, like, when people try to argue me down, like, oh, you're light skinned, or they'll see the texture of my hair. When I went natural in college, and they'll see the texture of my hair and be like, oh, well, like, what are you mixed with, or stuff like that. And my sister got the same kind of comment said to her as well, like, oh, are you mixed with something? A lot of people ask us, like, oh, what island are you from? We're from America. Our parents are American. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of people, I just don't understand, like, arguing with someone about them being light-skinned. Like, I feel like that's silly. Like, there's so many other things to talk about, but it is what it is. Like, I've come to the point where if somebody wants to consider me light, then consider me light. If they want to consider me dark, then consider me dark. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm not about to argue with nobody about how black I am. And that's usually what it goes to. And Poetry mentioned this too in her video. She was talking about how, you know, people want to argue with you about how black you are, and it's just like, why is that even a discussion in this country? But I don't know. You know, I don't want to get on here and, like, get irritated, so I'm gonna move on. So that was my personal experiences with it. Next, I'm gonna talk about my brother. My sister's pretty much the same complexion as me. If you want to see my sister, I have this old video. I have this old video on my channel from, like, when I first started YouTube back in, like, 2010. And I posted this video and I was doing my sister's eyebrows. So if you want to see my sister, she's in that video. I feature her. But my brother, I've never featured him on my channel, and he is darker than I am, darker than me and my sister. And I asked him what his experiences were with colorism, and he really didn't know what it was. And I was like, it's when people within our own race are saying things to us. And he felt like it was more of a, and my brother's younger too, but he felt like it was more of a female thing. He said that his experience, like, he didn't really have anything in his mind that came to mind where he experienced colorism. So I'm going to talk about my experience with that, just watching my brother grow up. We went to a church, and there were lighter skinned boys than him that were around his age that he used to hang out with. And if something went wrong, I felt like they blamed my brother because he was darker than them. I do feel like that. I don't think he remembers that, but I feel like they blamed him for stuff that he might not have done because he was darker. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about was my grandmother. My grandmother was born in 1930, and her mother is black. her father was a mixed man, so he was half white, and so her grandmother was white. Um, and she said that she didn't really have a relationship with her father, and I didn't even know that. I guess my great grandfather wasn't her actual father until later in my life. I don't know, just hearing her talk about how the woman was like, oh, she's dark. My grandmother's light. She's light, in my opinion. She's lighter than me. But even with that, like, she was born in 1930, so, this woman was probably in her mid 40s or something when she met her. Yeah, it's just interesting. Like, whenever you're around older people, talk to them, find out about things. Like, you'll learn a lot. So I just wanted to mention that. I guess that wasn't really colorism, but I always wondered, like, would she have had a relationship with him more so if he wasn't half white? I don't know. And, life experiences, and then she was, like, moving around and stuff. But I just wonder about, if she wanted to have a relationship with him, and, like, what could have been. You know what I'm saying? Had times been different. But I guess she didn't say that he was, like, ashamed of her or anything because she was darker. But it was just interesting because I'm like, in my mind, her father was black too, even though he was half white. So yeah, I don't know. And she's from this little small city in Florida, but things were different back then. And even though my grandmother was born in 1930 and that was a whole different, like, time, there's nothing that she really says about color or anything like that, or she's never mentioned anything about my brother being, darker or whatever. She married a darker man, and it's kind of interesting how, genes work, because my father and pretty much everybody in my family is pretty much the same complexion of brown. Like, my mom's a little bit lighter, and my brother is a little bit darker, and then my grandfather, is darker as well. So I don't know, it's just interesting. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was my experiences with makeup. And I first started to get into makeup when I was in college. The first person who I started watching on YouTube was Dulce Candy, and I just really got into it. Like, I jumped into makeup back in, like, 2008, 2009, and I started, like, learning everything about it, and I was really, like, into it. And what I noticed was, back then I would go to the drugstore and look for my shade, and it would always be the darkest shade. Now, for the people that are calling me light, I'm like, if I'm so light, why can't I find my shade at the drugstore? You know what I'm saying? So like, I always knew, like, and this is up until recently, I would go to the drugstore and I always knew that my shade would be the darkest shade. And that's sad, because there are people that are darker than us, you know what I'm saying? Or, yeah, darker than me. So yeah, and then recently, in recent years, like, a lot more, I would say, brown skinned girls got on YouTube, and, like, I can follow their videos and know exactly which shade to get based off of their video, because I know that I'm the same complexion as them, so I don't really have to, like, worry about it too much. I do want to talk about my friend from college. So out of my close friends, there are, there's another friend of mine that's lighter than me, and then another friend that's darker than me, and then another friend that's about the same complexion as the darker skinned girl. So it's two darker, and then us. And I feel like I'm in the middle, but I mean, they would consider me lighter than them. So yeah, we went to the store one day with, like, three of us. So my darker friend, my lighter friend, and then me in the middle. We went to the store and we were looking at makeup. Like, I'm always going to the store looking at makeup. And she was looking for her shade, and I was telling her, no, she was asking me, like, oh, so do you think I'm this shade, whatever. And she was like, they don't have my shade. And that was literally, y'all, that might have been maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and they didn't have her shade. And I was just like, I felt bad, because I'm like, listen, don't feel bad because these companies don't make your shade. Like, that's why darker skinned women go to cosmetic counters in department stores and like malls and stuff, because they have to buy higher end makeup because drugstores don't make it. And it's sad. Like, now, we have Fenty Beauty. I And that's crazy because in my life I've never gone into a store and not known which color to choose. And that's a good problem to have. Am I right or am I wrong? I feel like I'm right. To go into a store and not know which color to choose, like there's so many shades of brown, you know what I'm saying? Like that was crazy. Like that brought joy to my heart because there were so many options. That's all we want is options. But yeah, so I felt bad that she couldn't find her shade, and like now she can. CoverGirl just recently came out with, I think they have 30 shades or 40 shades in their foundation range, so I'm definitely gonna check that one out. And Fenty Beauty came out with the line, and they had so many shades, and I mean, like I said, we were in the store. Me and my friend, we were in the store. Like, we don't know which one to pick, girl. Like, we got so many choices. Like, it's a good feeling to have choices to choose from with makeup. So that's what's up. I'm happy that companies are finally starting to see, but it's not even companies, it's people, brown skinned women like us. Like, Rihanna's a singer and she came out with this line. Like, I feel like that's sad. Like, she put the makeup industry to shame. Like, how many other brands, yeah, it was a few other brands that had shades for us, but when she came out with that line, I feel like she really said something to these makeup companies, like, y'all need to do better. And I'm happy that they're starting to step up their game and realize that we buy makeup too. We matter too. And like I said, I'm not coming on here to be angry or anything. I just wanted to talk about, colorism and my points of view with it and how I feel about it and everything. So yeah, as far as like makeup is concerned, I feel like in recent years it's gotten a lot better. But it used to be I would be the darkest shade, and sometimes they didn't even have a shade dark enough for me, and I could tell real quick if they had the shade or if they didn't have the shade. There's some brands that I still can't, I don't mess with their stuff because they don't have no colors for me. So why would I buy something from them when they don't have no color for me? So yeah, that was pretty much it. I do want to talk about some shows that discuss colorism on a lighter scale. Obviously, Grownish discussed it. Grownish had a good video with Chloe and Halle, but I feel like they should have included Zoe in the conversation, because I don't want to say Zoe is lighter, but she's lighter than them. And I feel like they should include her. They should have included her in that conversation. So I really didn't like the way they did that video. But that is a video that discusses, actually, kind of racism and colorism as well. Also Blackish. I think Blackish probably had an episode or two that discussed it, as well as Dear White People. Now, Dear White People is on Netflix right now, season 2. It was a great season. The first season, if you watch Coco's episode, that was touching to me. She really went into depth about things that affected her as a darker skinned woman, and I can appreciate her experiences, even though I don't like her character. I don't like her character, but yeah, she really went into depth with that, and I feel like she made the audience understand why she acts the way she acts, and I appreciate that. Even if I don't agree with it, you can appreciate something even if you don't agree with it. So those were the shows that I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to talk briefly about how I feel colorism got started. And so we all know the slaves came over here, right? They came over here and they were divided. People worked in the house, people worked in the field. And I feel like maybe that's not where colorism started exactly, but I do feel like that's where the divide came in. And because of that, it's like we're still arguing about this now, and it's like there's so many other things going on in the world that we need to be united for. And this crabs in a barrel syndrome, like, it's not going away. People still have it, and they don't want people to do better for whatever reason, and they'll come after you and say that you got that because you're lighter, or you got that because you're darker, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'm happy that Black Panther like did not touch on any of these things. I don't know why I brought Black Panther up, but anyways, I just love the movie. So I did want to address some of the things that Ty said in her videos when she was talking about Penny Proud and the Proud family, and she was talking about the Grove sisters. This brought back memories because I used to watch this growing up. So the Grove sisters were the bullies of the show. Penny Proud was light skinned. She was the heroine of the show. I do feel like they kind of made Penny Proud that light because Kyla Pratt voiced the character of Penny Proud, and she was that light. So I'm just like, I don't know, I feel like those go hand in hand, but I could be wrong. The Grove sisters were blue and black, I think. Me and my sister were talking about this, and we feel like, yeah, we remember them being blue and black, or black and white. And then I brought up the fact that are they saying that older people say like, he's so black, he's blue. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that before, like older people say that. And I never really understood because I never had really seen anyone that dark, but I have seen someone that I was like, oh wow, like he is really, really dark. But again, that's like an insult. So maybe they were saying in the show, like subliminally to us, that the Grove sisters were so black they were blue. I don't know. I just thought about that when Ty said it in her video, and I was like, maybe that's what it is. So yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know if you guys watch she's really popular here on YouTube. Her name is Julesy. It's JOUELYZ. And she made this video recently called "Is Cardi B Black?" And basically in the video she was saying, you know, she doesn't need Cardi B to be black, and I wholeheartedly agree with what she said in the video. Like, I feel like I'm not gonna argue with you. If you say you got some black in you, then that's you. Everybody doesn't have to look a certain way to be considered black. That's all. That's what I got from that video, and that's what I want to tell people who are watching my video. Like, don't let anybody define you. You define who you are. If you know who you are, stand in that, and it's simple as that. She also asked, are we benefiting from colorism more so than dark-skinned women? I do feel like I benefit from colorism. I don't know how. Maybe I was chosen to do something and I don't even know before one of my darker skinned sisters. I don't know, but I do feel like I benefit from it. I haven't had many experiences with it that come to mind right now. If I think about something, I'll definitely, do a follow-up video. And it's the same thing with natural hair. She kind of touched on that too. Natural hair versus having a relaxer. When I first went natural, my friends were like, why are you going natural? Like, you have such a great relaxer, it flows, blah, blah, blah. And they used to call it the wrap. Like Tierney has a nice wrap, and I did have a nice wrap. I knew how to flat iron. That's all it was. I still know how to flat iron. Probably not as good as I used to because I don't do it anymore. But I mean, it's all about what you want. I don't say anything against anybody and their hair decisions. That's on them. If they decide that they want to have a relaxer, then that's up to that person. Like, don't get on people because they decide that they want to have something or they want to have straight hair. It is what it is. And the way things were set up in this country, like I said, it goes back to slavery. Like, colorism goes back to slavery. People say that we need to stop talking about slavery and, it's pretty much over. Racism is over. Not according to Roseanne, right? It's not over. It's not over. It still exists. If you think it doesn't exist, then keep living. That's all I have to say about that. Personally, I am a Pan-Africanist, which means that I want us all to gather together in unity. I don't know if that'll ever happen because people have so many opinions. So it is what it is. But I can believe what I want to believe. You can believe what you want to believe. That is the United States and the freedom of speech. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up everything that I had to say about colorism. I hope this video isn't too long. I'm trying to edit everything that I can. For the most part, I want to thank y'all for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna come back, like I said, with the update video for y'all about what's been going on with me in my life. Yeah, and I'm tagging anybody who's had experiences with colorism. You know, just because I really haven't had any strong experiences with it that I can remember doesn't mean that they don't exist. Everybody's point of view is valid. Your feelings are valid. And I appreciate everybody watching this video. I want to thank y'all for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.